Hey everybody, welcome back to Surfview Gardens. Today is Saturday, January 27th. Temperature outside's about 75 to 80 degrees. Today I'm going to be doing some planning for the front yard and the backyard, and I have a little bit of a diagram that I'm working on. So I came inside. The neighbor in the backyard was making a racket with one of those leaf blower things. Here they call it mow, blow, and go, where a team comes in and inside of 10 minutes, 4 people do all that work in a yard. I think that's what they're doing in the backyard. In any event, here's what we're working on today. All right, there's Saturday, January 27th, and we're going to expand the front yard moringa basin. Excuse me, and place wood chips in the basin. In a recent video, you saw me put wood chips in the backyard in what I call 3 beds. And by the check mark there, by the time I've already write this down, I've already done it, but I'll show you in this video. And then I had to go to the big box store or even a local store and buy 3 cubic feet of raised bed potting soil. And so now we're planting the back bed number 2. Now I have a bunch of plants, and this isn't all of them, but I've decided to plant pigeon peas, ashwagandha, Egyptian spinach, and some hibiscus sabdariffa. Now I've got a lot more other stuff to plant, but I want to get those seeds going so that I can transplant them. So let's look at what we got. So here's back bed number. There's all 3 beds, but I didn't need to put all 3 in. It's the east side of the west wall, the back, and then there's bed 1. There's rosemary. You'll see that in the video. And then I'll move back a little bit. And then this is the bed we're working on today. So last year I was really successful with putting a screen for about $10 from the hardware store. You can get a replacement screen. So I put the screen, and each one of those little lollipop things are actually a peg, like a 2-foot peg that I bought for like $1.20, even maybe less than that. No, actually I think they're about 40 cents. And so spikes are already ready to go. So I put in 9. And then I put that dark area, sketchy looking area, that's the soil area. And this year I'm going to plant right in it instead of planting on the banks around it. And then I put a screen. You can see the little squares there. That represents a screen. And so the screen goes over that. And then that big old round thing that goes around the whole thing, like there, that's a hose. So I have these old hoses. I don't throw them away. So in order to keep it down, but the basic goal is to keep the squirrels out of there, or actually the squirrel. Last year I had a whole bunch of broccoli going. I threw a bunch of seeds I had, and it was like a carpet of broccoli seedlings. I was going to have a bumper crop of broccoli. And what turned out was that Mr. Chubby Squirrel made a buffet out of it. So this year I'm cutting to the chase and just going to start off my seedlings in there. And then there's this other device I have that is like a dome, like a little miniature tent, 24 inches by 24. And then that dark area in there is probably the way that I'm going to do the soil. But because this is all wood chips here, this whole bed, actually even that bed too, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant in the wood chips. So I saw this video of this one lady. It's pretty smart. In the Back to Eden method, it's recommended that people move, they have their wood chips piled up, and they're supposed to move them aside and go all the way down to the soil. Well, this one lady had this good video where she says, all I've got down below is like bedrock. There's nothing really like soil down there, but I've got lots of wood chips that are decomposing. So why not just plant in the wood chips? Use the wood chips as like a pot, like a planter. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the wood chips aside and put enough soil, just as if I was planting in a container, and then I'm going to plant in that soil. But in this case, I'm basically kind of creating like a planter, and that's where I'll make it deep enough so that as the seeds start to grow, they have room enough to grow without me having to transplant them. All right, here we go. I positioned everything so that you could see where it goes before I start doing the work. So here we go. We've got the screen and the sticks in place, the stakes. And I moved some of the wood chips out of the way. And then basically I expanded what we designed in the living room so that basically it's going to be the same tunnel, the same swales or key lines or whatever that's going to run this whole thing. So what I'm going to end up doing is taking a bunch of raised bed potting soil and making a mound where that sunk in part is, and then that way it'll just be continuous, and then I can put in my seeds, and then I can cover it up, and I'll have a whole area covered up so that Mr. Chubby Chipmunk, Mr. Chubby Squirrel won't come over and chomp on everything. So I might as well do it all at once. And so the next step will be to get the potting bed soil out of the car and put it in place and start making some mounds. But I think this will work out nicely, and it'll all be covered up so that the predators won't get it. So back in a bit. There we go. We made a little bit of progress. Let me show you what I did. Okay, so we took that bag of raised bed potting soil. This is the one that I use. May not be the best, but I've had real good luck with it. And it's 3 cubic feet for basically $10 at a local big store. So that's not bad. And it's got some vermiculite in there. So anyway, there's going to be a little bit of adjustment on these once I get the screen in place. But the basic idea is that I stepped on it. I got it down about 5-6 inches. I made a mound, and then I put more on, stepped on it more. I got more of a pound, more of it on there. And so these will come out a little bit this way once I adjust for that screen. But before I do that, I'm going to water it and seed it. And it doesn't make sense to put the screen on, of course, until I seed it. So that's what we're going to do. Next step is watering. And then after that, I will place the seeds. And then I will seal it up. Alrighty. Alright. So here we are with... this is how it's looking just before I seed it, but isn't that beautiful? So we got 2 nice long rows. Now if I was going to put, like over here what I did before, I put like about 8 bags of raised bed potting soil to get it up to the level that it is. It's doing quite well. But this one's even deeper, and the other one of course is even deeper than that. But we've got about 8, 10, 12 inches of wood chips, and then I pushed them aside, and then I made some mounds, long row mounds of potting soil. Again, that's the Kellogg raised bed potting mix. You can dump on it if you want, but I think it's done me quite well. It comes with a little bit of mycorrhizal fungi in it, so it's worked out well for me. So in any event, this is how it looks before. Next time you probably see it seeded and covered with the protectors, varmint protectors. So that's the next step. Very good. All right. I didn't plan on showing you this part, but I just figured it was pretty brilliant. So here we go. Basically what I did was I took a rake, and then I, about every 4 inches or so, I did two different push downs with it. And that way, I may not plant something in every hole, but that's just where the opportunity is when I go to plant. And I may just go ahead and do it, just, just to increase the likelihood of something growing. And then being kind of lazy, not wanting to stoop quite so much, I have this pipe. And so what I'll do is I'll put the pipe over the hole. Can't see way down there, but there you go. And so then I'll just drop the seed down the pipe, and I won't have to bend over. And then later I'll take the end of the pipe or the rake or a rake and rake over the hole. Probably use the pipe. That way I can just cover the hole that I covered in case I want to mix the different kind of plants. So in any event, I thought that was pretty brilliant, and so I thought I would share that with you. So next step will be when I'm already done the seeding. There's all sorts of flies, little tiny flies that have happened due to the wood chips decaying, and it's been causing a lot of little tiny flies. So I've got a hummingbird that comes through here. It zips through. I've almost been hit by it a few times. It'd be weird to go into the doctor's office saying you got hit in the eye by a hummingbird, but in any event, it zips through here, and because of the way that the sun is hitting, there's the sun, it silhouettes the flies, and so the hummingbird can just eat, buzzing around, getting all the flies out of the air. They're not the big flies, they're just these real tiny things. So in any event, on to the seeding. Well, here we are, close to sunset. There's the mountains. There's some chemtrailing. There's the aftermath of the chemtrailing. Right there. But the big effort for the day has been finished. It's not pretty. I got my hose around there to keep the varmints, keep the screen from going down. But basically we get the 2 rows in there. And I have done something similar with these other 3 covers. I figured we'd cover it from mostly from insects and from squirrels and stuff. This one in the middle will let a little light get into the others. But it will keep the varmints out once the plants start growing. And then I got some of this wood chips I put around the sides to make it less easy for anything to get in there. So that's how it is. And then in that back row over there, you can't see, of course, nothing's growing yet. But we have the pigeon pea, whole row of pigeon pea all the way down to the end. And then we also have the another row of pigeon pea. So we got two rows of pigeon peas. Then we have ashwagandha and hibiscus sabdariffa alternating in the front. And what else did I leave out? Oh, and the Egyptian walking onion, Egyptian spinach. We have that all the way on one row, all the way across. So the bottom row is ashwagandha and hibiscus sabdariffa. There's 2 in each of the bottom row, and then the top of the those are on the bottom of the 2, and then at the top of the bottom one, all along this thing, is the Egyptian spinach, and then we've also got a ton of pigeon pea. So today is January 27th, 2018. It's about 80 degrees today. It's going to get warm. We never really had a frost or a freeze this year. But that's it for the day. So once these, the basic idea is that once these things start growing, I'm going to start transplanting them into the second bed. And I might do something different before then. I'd like to get stuff in the ground. But you can see that just for like being here a week, this stuff has gotten really, really hot and broken down considerably. The mold and the bacteria are making it, you know, when I was moving it around today, there was steam coming out of these piles. So it's like a long compost pile of sorts. And I'm pretty happy. I got all this done. And then I got my 2 rows of different things. I'll have to come up with a better arrangement than this hose thing. I think I have way too much hose. Maybe I need to cut it. I guess that wouldn't be so bad. Cool sunset. The board there is to keep the wind from blowing those things away. I found some neighbor had thrown it away, but it serves the purpose really well instead of putting stones on it. Or putting the pegs, because I can just pop the board and then pull off the tents and do my work in there.